This video will demonstrate creating a discrete report based on a batch, machine, or alarm cycle in the process. The report will be named after a value in the process, such as the batch ID, and we'll use both register and date time variables to create this one. So if you're not familiar with those, you can check out our reviews on each of those variable types. Okay, so to get started with our discrete report, let's open up Template Studio from Project Explorer and create a new template by opening the XLReporter ribbon and opening Template New. Give the template a name and start with a blank report template. Inside the template, we'll start by adding a header using the content designer. And to do that, we just specify where the header goes and its title. My header gets inserted with blue formatting because I'm using the blue design theme. Now I'll add some other information to the header. So the start date, end date, and end time of the cycle. Now I'll actually connect that data through the date time variable that we configured in another video. So I'll set the connector to variables. Then I'll browse in under date time, select that date time variable, and I'll just start putting in the different fields that I need. So the start date, the end date, and the end time. Now I'll add a data group to my historical data connector by browsing the name. And I'll use the type summary values from server. Here inside the group, I'll select tags from my historian. And I'll use the calculation first sample because I'm trying to collect the value on the tag periodically throughout the cycle. On the time period tab, I'll set the type to variable, and then I'll just plug in the different fields of my date time variable. So start date and time and end date and time. And I'll choose to return 1 minute samples over this duration. So now I'll save and close the group and add it into the template back in connections. And I'll do that in B10 with a placement type of insert at start. And that will help me keep this report formatted because I can then just apply the formatting in the top row of the data area, and this placement type will carry that formatting down for the whole data set. So I'll save and close connections, and you can see that I get a theme formatted header applied when I add the group. Now let me apply the formatting on the first row. So I'll do the data area as number and the date and time as time. And then I can call that time as well. And now I'll just widen out the column so I can actually see my tag names. I'll widen the date and time column out a little bit as well. And next we can assign the naming convention for the report, and for this one I'll just set it on the workbook. So I'll set the name of the workbook to my report name variable that we created in another video, followed by the year, month, and day when the report is generated. And because we're going to end up with hundreds of files in the output folder for this report, I can add a folder based on the year and month. The last piece of design work we'll need to do is add a schedule, so I'll save the template and I'll open up schedule. And we'll need several different actions to create this report. The first one is going to be establishing the report name. So the action is going to be set a value to a variable. The variable will be the report name variable. And the value it's being set to will be the ID of the batch or the cycle. So I'll use my batch ID tag. And the condition is going to be when the cycle starts. So it'll be event-based, and for me it's when my cycle start tag transitions to a value of 1. The next action is going to be establishing the start of the time period for the report. And that will be reset a variable on our datetime variable. And the condition is going to be the same, again, at the start of the cycle. The next action will be establishing the end of the time period for the report. That will be update on the datetime variable. And the condition will be the end of the cycle, which for me is when that cycle start tag transitions back to 0. So now we've established the name of the report and the time period, so we can configure the last action, which is actually updating, generating the report. So the action is going to be update worksheet on the template sheet. And the condition is the same as the previous action at the end of the cycle. So now I can save the schedule designer, close it, close down the template, and we'll come back in part 2 and we'll test and demonstrate the report. For more information, visit us online at www.scitech.com.